Hey guys, it's Brian with CryptoviralTV. I'm here today with
Hugh Naylor. Hi.
And we are here at the EDAILY festival in Korea. First, Hugh, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'm a former journalist with the Washington Post. I lived in the Middle East for 10 years. And then I co-founded a strategic communications firm called TIGA that focuses on blockchain ventures both in the United States and Asia.
Well, that's a pretty big jump going from traditional media into blockchain. I guess kind of what are some differences that you've seen coming into the blockchain world versus traditional media and traditional communications industry?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously they're very different fields in general, but journalism has a long established tradition. Even though there are innovations in digital publications and in social media, the core of journalism is still very much the same, whereas I find blockchain is like an entirely new universe, right? Blockchain is like this brand new technology that's everyone is creating it at the moment. And not only that, but because it's so brand new and all these new systems are coming out, it requires almost like a new language to speak it. And so my firm focuses on helping these blockchain companies actually explain themselves in a way to people in the rest of the world so that they understand it, which is actually, it's a challenge because it's a new language,
So for, I guess, the average consumer or average person out there, that might not be familiar with blockchain besides, what they've heard from their friends or from, the crazy news sometimes with crypto. What do you think their perspective is in terms of how they see the whole industry?
Yeah, well, I think primarily, your average person is confused. They don't understand the value that blockchain is bringing to a variety of industries and cryptocurrencies as well. I guess one and the same, if you could argue. But people are confused by it, and in a way, I would say that they're almost intimidated by it too, because I think the industry, we call it the Web 3.0 industry, right? Blockchain and crypto. The leaders in this industry are geniuses. They're so talented, but they're also engineers, many of them, and a lot of time they have a hard time presenting things in a simple, easy to use way for the rest of the world to understand. And as a result, people like my mom and dad, I spoke about this when I presented, my mom and dad, who are very smart and savvy people, and they do investing and everything, they're just totally freaked out when I say P2P or Turing complete or disintermediation, So we can stop using those terms. Yeah.
Nice. So in terms of, kind of like you were saying, there's these engineers, right? They have a hard time communicating with the masses. I mean, they're able to explain it in a technical perspective. So that's kind of where you come in, right? Where you're able to kind of work with the firm and rebrand or re-image kind of their message to the public in a more easy to understand format. I guess kind of what are, for any blockchain project that's out there that is kind of wanting to rebrand themselves or kind of wanting to get their message out, what would you say are some ways that they can do that in easy to understand?
Yeah. I spoke about this actually a few minutes ago. I just gave a few tips, but I think, I've looked at this camera too. I think the first thing that these companies or ventures, whatever you want to call them, should do is they need to go through what I call a strategic communications review. And what I mean by that is like a thorough examination of like the guts of the company, the team, and what the core value proposition is, what the goals of the product is, and what's the mission of the team, what's the competitive ecosystem, right? And how do you differentiate yourself from people who are doing something similar to you? And you basically get to the core of your value, right? By exploring audiences. Who are your key audiences? Is it investors or teenagers in Korea or whatever? So you undergo this review, right? And you do it like with your, this is too long by the way, tell me, but you do it with your founder, the co-founder, some people, the team, and then like us, right? And we help lead it. And then from the results of that, right, what I recommend is that these companies then put in place, or design and then put in place, a strategic communications plan. That sounds kind of cliche, but basically what it is it's sort of a long medium to long-term roadmap using the results of that big review to help create a strategy for you to better communicate to your key audiences and meet goals in terms of communicating with those audiences. And we create these plans that provide a variety of sort of strategies from how to do contact and deal with media to what are your goals in terms of your product launch. Maybe it's your white paper or whatever. And then the third thing I would recommend, once you've done a review of your messaging, a diagnostic in a way, and once you've come together with this strategy, this communications plan to guide you forward, I would say the first thing I would do if I was a company is clean up those awful websites, clean up those awful pitch decks, no offense by the way, but they're not very good, and get the CEO to start using the simplified, clarified message that has resulted from the review process at conferences, in interviews with journalists, pitching investors. Once you go through that process, once you've done the review, once you've come up with the plan, it's like a distillation of your core message that you can just like easily present in a way that makes sense to you and to people around you. It's amazing how it changes the way companies present themselves. So those are like three quick things, not necessarily quick, but three core things that can be done that would really kind of provide rocket fuel,
Fair enough, sounds good.
Yeah, that was a long answer.
No, it's completely fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of in a way you're saying like, a lot of traditional industries have a set way of doing things, but bringing that mindset into blockchain might not be the best way to go for all projects. Taking kind of more, I guess, a viral or open approach, or a different approach from something from the traditional. Usually like when you look at tech companies, they only target a certain audience. So they're spewing technical details or technical words to people that only certain people that might understand that. But what you're kind of saying is that these blockchain projects that are wanting to be out there and have a good image in the public need to kind of change their mindset in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an early technology that's being led by the developers, right? And we're, again, very, very brilliant people, but maybe not the best communicators. Right. Maybe they are, but a lot of them aren't, right? And that's no fault of their own. They're in this world where all this new terminology is coming out, and so they're focused on explaining things using this complex stuff that unfortunately most people don't understand. And so, I mean, I guess the answer to your question is that, I mean, it depends on your audience. Mm-hmm. Maybe complex terminology is what your key audience wants to hear. Right. If you're doing a B2B platform, then you need to explain yourselves, say using a very niche terminology, right? But if you have a content sharing app that is blockchain powered and you want it to be used by the masses, then you want language that kids can understand, right? That teenagers will get, and so it really depends on the goals of the venture that you're working with, and that's why the review process is great, because by defining your audiences and then your goals of how to reach them, you can come up with a strategy about, what is the best phrasing to target them, etc. So, yeah.
We're almost out of time. I got one last question.
Yeah. I'll keep it short.
I'm sure, there's like what 2,000, something, just cryptocurrencies. There's, probably thousands of, other projects that are involved in the crypto ecosystem. And I'm sure you've done your research and kind of looked at a lot of them and what they've done in terms of their communications or their branding, image. Can you just off the top of your head, any company that got it right in your opinion?
I mean, there are a lot of companies that have done it's funny. It's a smaller project that has done extraordinary things, but maybe they don't have like the brand appeal and awareness of say like Ripple or something. It's called Vayview, and they're a video sharing app that's on the Quantum blockchain out of Shanghai. But they launched the first ever feature Hollywood film on a blockchain platform, and it's fully operational, and you can like pay tokens to watch the film. And not only that, but they also brought a really well-known British indie band called Lost Under Heaven. And this band toured the west coast of the United States, and using this app through Vayview, which is the company, V-E-V-U-E, fans were doing token air requests dropped at the venues where this band is playing, and then the band members would receive the token air request and play a song. So the request was like, please play this song. and the band would play it, and the people in the audience or digital audience would pay them the money.
This is all on the blockchain.
It's incredible, and it's just a smaller project, but it's got huge potential, in my opinion.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And hope you enjoy your stay here in Korea.
I love Korea.
That's good.
Yeah, cool, man.
Thank you.